Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Church, and I'm the Vice President, Academic and Provost here at the Mount, and I'd like to welcome you to this most happy occasion. As we gather here together, I would like to acknowledge and pay respect to the Indigenous people on whose land we meet. Mount Saint Vincent University is built on unceded Mi'kmaq territory. We also pay respect to the Mi'kmaq knowledge embedded in this land and to the elders past, present, and future. Today's event is being celebrated on social media, and we invite you to join in using the hashtag MSVUgrads, all one word. And a little more technical information here. You can log into our secure wireless using Mount, all lowercase, and the password is Convocation17. And we're delighted to see children here, especially for a graduation that's for education. And we understand that children do move around and they make noise, and that's perfectly fine with us. I would like to invite Sister Evelyn Williams to come forward and give the invocation.
O Holy One of mystery, known by many names, heard through many voices, we acknowledge your presence with us this day. We gather with grateful hearts to celebrate the accomplishments of the graduands of 2017. As we call to mind the path that has brought us to this day, we remember the times of new beginnings, adjustment, struggle, happiness, and success. And we bring all of these memories to our celebration today, knowing their place in our search for fullness of life. We gratefully remember all those who have encouraged, taught, and nurtured us on this journey. For proud parents, grandparents, spouses, and children, for teachers, mentors, professors, and for faithful friends, people whose love, encouragement, and support help deepen our faith in ourselves and our commitment to our goals. Holy One of blessing, take us beyond the vision of this day. Continue to be with us as we draw upon the wisdom and experience gained here, and continue to use our many gifts of intellect, heart, and soul to build a world of peace and justice for all. Amen.
Thank you, Sister Evelyn. Please be seated. This morning, we installed our 13th president, Dr. Mary Bluechardt, and I would like to invite Dr. Bluechardt to come forward and give welcoming remarks on this, her first official day as a president.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Madam Board Chair, Madam Chancellor, government representatives, Students' Union President, distinguished guests, faculty, staff, graduates, families, and friends. It is my pleasure to welcome you to Mount Saint Vincent University's Fall 2017 Convocation. At our two convocation ceremonies, we gather to celebrate the accomplishments of more than 350 of our students from 21 different countries. They have completed their required courses of study and now receive their certificates, diplomas, and degrees from 61 programs. 63 students are graduating with distinction, and 4 are graduating with first-class honors. 22 students will receive a Senate Award of Distinction. We are extremely proud of today's graduates, and on behalf of the entire Mount community, I congratulate you all on your achievement of your academic goals here at the Mount. Joining our students is an exceptional individual who will serve as an inspiration for our graduates as she accepts her honorary degree this afternoon. We're proud to share our Fall Convocation with Winnie Byanyima, Executive Director of Oxfam International. Winnie is a global leader on women's rights and democratic governance and peace building, spanning multilateral, legislative, diplomatic, and civil society arenas. Convocation is one of my favorite times of the year, and I know I can speak for many that are here today, as we celebrate the ultimate achievement of our students, that being graduation. It's also a time for special recognition of some extraordinary accomplishments. We'll hear more about some of our wonderful student award winners later in today's ceremony, and I have no doubt you'll be as impressed with them as I am. This morning I was installed as the Mount's 13th president, and I'm hoping that number 13 is a lucky number now, and Vice-Chancellor, and I would like to express how very grateful I am for the opportunity to join this university community. It is a distinct honor to lead the Mount in our efforts to continue our historic and important focus on the advancement of women, as well as engage and inspire students, including non-traditional students, and expand our focus on experiential learning, diversity, applied research, and internationalization. Education opens doors, changes lives, impacts society, and translates into a responsibility for all of us leading educational efforts. And that's why a focus on inclusivity and accessibility in education is key. The Mount is home to wonderful initiatives that have as their focus supporting often underserved populations in the pursuit of higher education. Working with faculty and students, our team of Accessibility Services staff provides individual support to students by promoting self-efficacy and an equitable learning environment. Our International Education Center exists as a hub and home for our international students. In their efforts, center staff seek to integrate international students into the Mount community, helping them make important academic, career, and friendship connections, working hard to build for them a sense of belonging. The Mount's Aboriginal Student Center offers supports for students in an educational and culturally engaging space on campus. The center provides academic advising and offers the opportunity for students to learn more about Aboriginal culture while providing a place to study and engage with their peers. It is home to offices of Veronica Gore, the Mount's Coordinator of Aboriginal Student Services, and Patrick Smalllegs Nagy, recently appointed as the first Special Advisor to the Mount President on Aboriginal Affairs. In this role, Patrick will play an important part in supporting the success of Aboriginal learners and ensuring meaningful relationships with the Aboriginal community, both of which are of great importance to the Mount. As an institution, we are committed to action towards truth and reconciliation among Indigenous people. We are grateful for Patrick's leadership and the input of both our internal and external Aboriginal advisory committees in this effort. The Mount's Alexa McDonough Institute for Women, Gender, and Social Justice offers the opportunity to connect and inspire Nova Scotia girls through special events. As their vision states, the Institute is a hub of feminist energy, action, and research that seeks to achieve equity and improve lives in their complexity and multiplicity, locally and globally. This past October 11th, the United Nations International Day of the Girl Child, we welcomed over 250 young girls to campus, plus families, members, and community members, for a celebration featuring 9 of the most inspiring young women speakers from Nova Scotia. If the energy, confidence, talent in that room that day is any indication, we have a generation of passionate future female leaders in our midst. And add to it all, I've just cited the tremendous work of the very talented faculty and staff here at the Mount, whose research, teaching, and community efforts seek to break down barriers each and every day. For example, Janice Keefe and her team in the Nova Scotia Centre on Aging, who recently signed an MOU with the province to support research that will inform government policies on aging. Or the faculty, soon to relocate to our new Centre for Applied Research in Human Health, experts in diabetes, obesity, Alzheimer's disease, vitamin deficiency, early childhood health, and well-being, and more. On a related note, I am delighted to highlight that just 10 days ago, Canada's universities, and of course the Mount was included, officially adopted 7 inclusive excellence principles to advance equity, diversity, and inclusion on campus and in society. These principles and accompanying action plan are designed to advance the efforts of universities across the country to improve the participation and success of underrepresented groups within the academic community. It was a milestone that many of us have been working towards tirelessly for decades, and to be witness to the nationwide adoption of these principles at the recent Universities Canada meetings in Ottawa was heartwarming for me. Graduates gathered here today, you are citizens of a world that needs your insight, your caring, your thoughtfulness, your compassion, and your commitment to all people, and in particular, the efforts that support our most vulnerable citizens and enable the success of the marginalized. I hope your education has not just imparted the knowledge you need to do your future work, but also the passion and tools you need to make sure that work is done or applied in a way that is just. At no time has this perhaps been more critical. I'm delighted to see so many vibrant members of the Mount family counted among today's graduates, athletes, volunteers, student union members, and even some of our very own staff members. It is a privilege, and I say a privilege, to join you today in your celebration. Graduates, today we thank you, celebrate you, bid you farewell, confident that your future will be enriched as a result of your time here as a Mount student. I now invite each of you graduates to join me in thanking the Mount faculty and staff who have guided your growth and learning, as well as your family and friends who have supported you and have gathered here today. Please join me in giving them a big round of applause and thanks. Finally, I want to acknowledge all of the people who have worked to prepare for today's ceremony. They are phenomenal, and without their hard work, our celebration today would not have been possible. So I thank you. Come and visit us often. Come home and visit us often here at the Mount. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bluechardt. I'd now like to ask our honorary degree candidate, Winnie Byanyima, to stand, please. And I'll invite Dr. Jonathan Roberts, faculty member in the Department of History, to come forward and to present Winnie to the convocation.
Madam Board Chair, Madam Chancellor, Madam President, distinguished guests and faculty, graduates, families, and friends, it's my honor and great pleasure to present to you Winnie Byanyima for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Mount Saint Vincent University embraces the goal of the advancement of women as a core element of its mission, and also cherishes its enduring tradition of social responsibility. We are delighted to recognize and celebrate Winnie Byanyima as a person whose achievements exemplify those values. When Winnie was growing up in Mbarara, Uganda, she was inspired by the courageous women in her village and the elder women in her family. A strong student, Winnie won acceptance to the prestigious Mount St. Mary's College in Namagunga. After showing an aptitude for the practical sciences, Winnie won acceptance to the University of Manchester, where she graduated to become the first female Ugandan aeronautical engineer. And she furthered her education at Cranfield University, specializing in energy conservation, and with her new qualifications, she returned to Uganda to work as a flight engineer at Uganda Airlines. Winnie arrived back in Uganda on the eve of civil war, and rather than allow the country to once again slip into dictatorship, she joined the resistance during the infamous Bush War of the 1980s. After a bitter struggle, the National Resistance Army won that war, and Winnie was dispatched to Paris to serve as Uganda's ambassador to France. Winnie then returned home to serve as a member of the Constituent Assembly that drafted the Ugandan Constitution. And one only needs to look at the provisions within that Constitution that relate to gender to realize the impact that Winnie had in drafting it. The Ugandan Constitution enshrines women's right to equal treatment with men and specifically enforces the rights to property and land during marriage and after marriage for widows. It also compels the state to take affirmative action in favor of groups marginalized on the basis of gender, and it prohibits laws, cultures, customs, and traditions which are against the dignity, welfare, or interest of women. More concretely, it establishes the role of women in the Ugandan democracy by ensuring that 1/3 of the members of each local government shall be women, and that there's one woman representative for every parliamentary district. So to hold the new government to these promises, Winnie ran for parliament in her hometown of Mbarara, and not surprisingly, she won in 1994, and again in 2004. And during her time in parliament, she used her experience to advocate for the role of women in other African countries, in Ethiopia, Rwanda, South Africa, and South Sudan. These are countries that were transitioning from periods of conflict into democracy. Winnie then accepted appointment as the head of the Directorate of Women, Gender, and Development at the African Union in 2004, and 2 years later took on the position of the Director of the Gender Team and the Bureau of Development Policy at the United Nations Development Program. And though she left for work abroad, Winnie kept her eye on the increasingly repressive regime of Yoweri Museveni. Sadly, a painful political divide has emerged amongst those who helped restore democracy in Uganda, and the struggle continues today, with Winnie as a part of the group that is unwilling to let Uganda lose that momentum that it had moving towards democracy. But her calling as an international diplomat has kept her abroad, and in 2013, Winnie accepted the prestigious position of Executive Director of Oxfam International, an organization that focuses on remedying the structural causes of poverty and injustice. And as a firm believer in Oxfam's mission of a just world without poverty, Winnie has advocated with sincerity and moral clarity that human beings must make significant changes in the way that they live on this planet in order to remedy the injustices that many people experience today. Specifically, she's spoken out in media outlets such as The Guardian and Al Jazeera and other places online about the need for governments to adopt universal health care, to take immediate steps to stop climate change, and to make the necessary policy changes to ensure gender equality. And remarkably, in 2015, Winnie was asked to co-chair the World Economic Forum in Davos. And I'm not sure exactly if they knew who they were dealing with when they let her into Davos, but what better opportunity for a person like Winnie to express the desperate need to narrow the gap between the rich and the poor around the world. And she did just that, publicly stating the cold fact that in 2015, the 9 richest men in the world held as much wealth as 3.6 billion people living in the global south. And the effects of this gap between the fortunate few and the rest of us, as Winnie put it when she was warning the billionaires in Davos, will fall hardest on the forgotten poor, of which women constitute the disproportionate share. As strongly as she could, she advocated for a global economy that starts with people rather than capital. And we should feel certain that she will hold the Davos elites to this demand. For her commitment to the advancement of women and her distinguished contributions to challenging global inequality, I ask you, Madam Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate of Mount Saint Vincent University, to bestow upon Winnie Byanyima the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
On behalf of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you, Winifred Caragua Byanyima, to the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto.
These medieval gowns take a little adjusting. Congratulations. I would now like to invite our newest honorary doctorate to the podium to deliver the convocation address to the graduates.
I'm not used to this. You can see that. The Chancellor, Reverend Sister Joan O'Keefe, the Vice-Chancellor and President, Dr. Mary Bluechardt, graduates and distinguished guests here at Mount St. Vincent University. First, congratulations, Dr. Mary Bluechardt, on your investiture this morning. I wish you a successful term. It's a great honor to be here with you today and to accept the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters alongside great heroes and heroines such as Rosa Parks. I thank you sincerely for this honor. Dear graduates, my heartfelt congratulations to all of you for successfully completing your university courses and receiving your academic degrees. What an achievement. And what an exciting time in your lives. Some of you are about to complete one chapter of your lives and to begin a new one. And some of you are returning to the world of work, perhaps to strike out in new directions. This can be a daunting time. You will have to ask yourself, what do I really want to be? What will I do? Often at this time, people talk about the need to find your place in the world. Well, that's fine. But what if the world does not have a comfortable place for you? What if, like Rosa Parks, your place is in the back of the bus? Then, graduates, you have to choose, like Rosa Parks, to change the world. This great woman, Rosa Parks, once said, "I'd like to be known as a person who is concerned about freedom and equality and justice and prosperity for all people." Think of that. Freedom, equality, justice, prosperity for all. You might have heard of a statistic that Oxfam brought out at the beginning of the year. And Professor Jonathan, if I can call you Jonathan, has just mentioned it, that 8 men now own as much wealth as 3.6 billion people, the poorest half of the world. 8 men, and I dare say not even 1 woman. We now have levels of wealth never seen before in human history, and yet 1 in 9 people go hungry every night. We live in an age of unparalleled consumption for the richest, and it's destroying the planet for all of us. I am angry that we are comfortably accepting these contradictions. We say to ourselves, it's okay, the world is made up of winners and losers. Some people work hard, some are not working hard, some are rich, some are poor. We justify. This subconscious tolerance of extreme inequality is like a seed that's planted deep in us. But friends, here's the simple and ugly truth. Extreme inequalities that divide us are human-made, and may I even say, man-made. They are the consequence of mistaken beliefs and misguided policies. Inequality is manufactured. I'll tell you a bit about myself. I was born in a village called Ruti, and Jonathan pronounced it right, in a town called Mbarara in southwestern Uganda. I have fond memories. We had no electricity in my village, no running water, no TV. I first saw a TV when I was 16. Water was fetched from the river, firewood from the forest. We walked 3 miles to school and 3 miles back home. We did our homework by the light of a kerosene lamp. This is not a story of poverty. My parents were school teachers, and that put me ahead of my village friends. But I could not understand, and I could not accept that I should walk to school in a pair of shoes when my best friends walked barefoot. So, I hid my shoes in my school bag and walked barefoot with them. And all children feel the same way, that inequality is wrong. But as we grow up, we are socialized to accept inequalities and to accept injustices. I'm haunted by the memory of all those girls who dropped out of school, my school, who didn't go past primary school, girls much smarter than myself. Half a century on, it's an outrage that we are in a world of riches, we are in a world of billionaires, but millions of girls from poor families still face the same, denied a chance to reach their full potential. And we all lose out. It's not just them. Just think how many potential astrophysicists, medical and environmental scientists are today herding goats and hauling water in villages. Inequality hurts the poor and cheats all of us. But how did we get here? It's not difficult to see. I'll give you an example of women that Oxfam works with in Myanmar. They work in the garment industries there. They are at the bottom of the global supply chain of companies like Gap, like H&M, like Zara, who make the clothes we all wear. These women earn $4 a day. They work 6 days a week, sometimes 7, sometimes up to 23 hours a day. If they get sick, they don't get paid. If they get pregnant, they're fired. They have no rights, no voice at all at work. And as things stand, most women in poverty will never escape poverty, no matter how hard they work. They bear the brunt of the terrible policies that fuel inequality. Women own 2% of the world's land. But farm and produce, 400 million women farm and produce most of the world's food. Working women still earn 23% less than men in the same jobs. 75% of women in Asia and in Africa are in informal, insecure jobs, like the women of Myanmar. Not much will change for these women unless the structures of our economies change. And do not think that this happens on the other side, far away in the south. No. Here in Canada, you might have seen Oxfam's shortchanged campaign, highlighting the plight of workers in the hotel industry, who are mostly women, who work long hours to make hotel beds, to clean hotel toilets for very low pay. They face intimidation, and they live in fear of arbitrary dismissal. Meanwhile, a top-earning hotel CEO can earn in 1 hour, more than what a housekeeper earns in a whole year. That can't be right. The problem of extreme wealth isn't about the ability to buy many houses, to buy a yacht. It's about the ability of the super rich to buy elections, to buy impunity from the law, to buy a pliant media to tell their story, to buy favorable laws. In 2013, the United States financial sector together spent more than $400 million lobbying their politicians on Capitol Hill. And the year before that, they spent $571 million on campaign contributions, buying the politicians. And my friends, wasn't that a good investment for them? The personal wealth of US billionaires, half of whom are invested in the financial sector, increased by $94 billion that year. And it's the same everywhere. You know, the US Supreme Court Justice Louis Brandeis once said, listen to this, you can have democracy or you can have wealth concentrated in the hands of a few, but you cannot have both. So our governments face a choice, and they are constantly making the wrong choice, choosing inequality over democracy. Increasingly, governments are confidently repressive, cracking down on citizens. One organization called Civic Arts, which is an alliance dedicated to strengthening citizens' rights, tells us that serious threats to civic freedoms exist now in more than 100 countries, rich and poor countries alike. So the capture of our politics by rich elites is causing the rise of populism. People are angry. They've lost faith with mainstream politics. All over the world, citizens are anxious, and they are looking for a new way. So the time has come for the world to make a decisive break from this reckless and destructive path. There's nothing so broken that can't be fixed. At Oxfam, we are optimistic. We never give up. We can choose to end extreme inequality. At Oxfam, we are working with unions, with unlikely partners, with unions, with churches, with mosques, with artists, with women, and with young people to halt and reverse extreme inequality, to build an economy for the 99%, not for the 1%. We are campaigning for universal quality health care for everyone, for an education for all our girls and boys. We can afford it. We are the wealthiest ever generation in human history. We are fighting against tax dodging by the Starbucks, the Apples, the Googles, and the super rich. And we are calling for a global tax watchdog to make sure that big companies and the very wealthy people pay their fair share of taxes. We are pushing for living wages for workers. We will not rest until an expectant mother finds support at the workplace, not a redundancy letter. Graduates, it is you who must take this fight forward. Each one of you can make your unique contribution towards a larger change. Do not doubt. Young people like you are changing the world. We see them in the tech sector, on social media, in social movements, pushing for change. Be part of them. Don't stand by. We need you to defend our freedoms against autocrats who suppress dissent rather than tackle extreme inequality. Help us to reimagine a world where automation serves all humanity, not only the owners of capital and technology, where it creates millions of jobs, not destroying jobs. Mount Saint Vincent University, or the Mount as I was told to call it, has a rich history of challenging the status quo and building responsible global citizens like you all are. You have been trained to find your place in this world. Like Rosa Parks, don't accept the seat you are given. Find your seat on the bus and help others to find theirs too. You've been given the skills through your education to make the world what it should be. Free, equal, just, safe, and prosperous for all. Your professors have inducted you into the Mount's long-standing tradition of women's empowerment and social justice. Oxfam shares this vision with the Mount. So go out, challenge the toxic idea that extreme inequality is inevitable. It isn't. That extreme wealth is necessary. It isn't. That for some to win, many others must lose. That's wrong. Join others to build an economy and communities that value and respect the dignity and rights of every one of us. I'm proud and feel deeply honored to be receiving this degree of Doctor of Humane Letters today and to be joining your community. And thank you, Jonathan, for that very generous citation. I look up to you all, the faculty and you, the graduates. I want to be inspired by your spirit and your energy. Let us go. We can make this world fairer and safer for everyone. I thank you very much.
Thank you for your inspiring and powerful speech. I think particularly for our graduates today who are teachers, who are in the schools, you know the power you have in the classroom to make change. At this point we come to a moment in our ceremony where we have a pause and a chance to reflect on what everyone has heard. I'd like to introduce Diane Torbett, who's here today, and she will be playing a piece by Johann Sebastian Bach, the Prelude in C. Thank you, Diana. I'd now like to invite Tanya Lorimer Charles, President of the Alumni Association, to come forward and say a few words.
Madam Chancellor, Madam President, distinguished guests, graduates, faculty, families, and friends. To our graduates, congratulations. Today is a day for you to celebrate your academic and personal success. I say with both experience and confidence that your Mount education will influence many aspects of your life moving forward. Your professors, your peers, and the greater Mount community have helped to form a unique and rich foundation for your bright future. Throughout your time here, your experiences may have also been unknowingly shaped, in part by those who graduated before you. As guest lecturers, co-op employers, university staff, mentors, and sports fans, you have felt the impact of the alumni who remain connected to this special place. I hope that when you leave here today, that you too will stay connected. As you are bestowed your degrees, you will also receive an alumni lapel pin bearing the coat of arms of the Mount to mark your membership in the Alumni Association. You will become one of many thousands of women and men who have come from around the globe to study at the Mount. Wear your pin with pride. As you start the next phase of your life, please stay close and keep us informed about your news and accomplishments. On behalf of the Mount alumni, congratulations and welcome to the family.
So now comes the moment for which we all gathered to see our students become our graduates. And I know family and friends, many of you would like to take a picture of your graduate as she or he crosses the stage. Please come down, feel welcome to come down. We ask that you not come onto the stage. And I would like to ask our Acting Dean of Education, Dr. Ardra Cole, to come to the podium, and our Chancellor to step forward.
The Senate Awards of Distinction are engraved pewter medals awarded by the Senate of Mount Saint Vincent University. The Master's Awards are presented upon recommendation of each graduate program. The awards will be presented along with the parchments. Madam Chancellor, it is my privilege to present to you the candidates for the Collegiate Honors of Graduation. I attest that they have successfully completed the required courses of study, and I ask that they be awarded the master degree. Mount Saint Vincent University confers the degree of Master of Education on Rose Abrams.
Rose, on behalf of the Synod of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto.
Darcel Adams Frank.
Darcel, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Farah Ahmad.
Farah, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Michael Aiken.
Michael, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Nadira Al-Nazleh.
Nadira, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Denise Ann Batten.
Denise, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Stephanie Bowes.
Stephanie, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Charlene Bradbury.
Charlene, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
C. Elizabeth Burridge.
Elizabeth, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Jacinta Cameron.
Jacinta, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Krista Cameron.
Krista, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Ashley Carvalho.
Ashley, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. You're welcome.
Diana Kassar.
Diana, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Gloria Yu Chukwu.
Gloria, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Megan N. Comstock.
Megan, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Heather Cook.
Heather, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Kyle Cormier.
Kyle, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Justine R. Curry.
Justine, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Kathy Daniela D'Amico.
Kathy, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Cynthia D'Souza.
Cynthia, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Jessica De Palma.
Jessica, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Lisa M. DeFranco.
Lisa, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Melissa A. M. Dooling.
Melissa, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Danny DeLallo.
Danny, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Cassandra Dominic.
Cassandra, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Asia Ebadi Gibson.
Asia, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Osara Ido Osagi.
Osara, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Yvonne E. Fancy.
Yvonne, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Jennifer A. Fell.
Jennifer, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Francine Fleming.
Francine, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Andrea D. Gelinas.
Andrea, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Ashley Kristen McKinstry.
Ashley, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Roxanne A. Goodridge.
Roxanne, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Tanya M. Harris.
Tanya, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Amanda L. Snook.
Amanda, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Joan.
Adriana Francesca Ionazzi.
Adriana, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Carla L. M. Jackson.
Carla, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Jillian Sarah Margaret Jackson.
Jillian, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Lawrence R. Knapp.
Lawrence, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. Good for you.
Kimberly Ann Baker.
Kimberly, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Good thing, huh?
Sarah M. Lake.
Sarah, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Brittany A. Lamb.
Brittany, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Heather Arlene Lawless.
Heather, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Maria Liero.
Maria, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Mary Lisa Lupinacci.
Mary, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Jennifer R. McDonald.
Jennifer, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Lynn Marjorie McKinnon, Senate Medal of Distinction.
Lynn, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations on the Senate Medal, too.
Lisa D. McLennan.
Lisa, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Lisa Catherine McNeil, Senate Medal of Distinction.
Lisa, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations on the Senate Medal, too.
Paula Martins.
Paula, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Alexandra Jade McCleave.
Alexandra, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Brian A. Melanson.
Brian, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Joyce Moriana.
Joyce, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. You're welcome.
Shauna L. Moles.
Shauna, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Erin Teresa Murphy.
Erin, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Sherry Evelyn Murphy.
Sherry, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Emma Lee Murray.
Emma, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Good thing I got it.
Leah Nash.
Leah, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Lydia Christine Negus.
Lydia, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Barbara Ann Nicholson.
Barbara, Gabber, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Lisa Ogay.
Lisa, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Sarah M. O'Leary.
Sarah, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Veronica Obasi.
Veronica, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Good job.
Harriet A. Omuregi.
Harriet, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Tanya Elizabeth Parker.
Tanya, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Christina Marie Pasquale.
Christina, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Jennifer Phillips.
Jennifer, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Heather A. Pulsifer.
Heather, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Giuseppina Renda.
Josephina, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Antonio Ritota.
Antonio, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Lisa M. Roach.
Lisa, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Brian Anthony Sosa Rodriguez.
Brian, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Christina N. Roti.
Christina, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Violet Schlender.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. You're welcome.
Kelly K. Smith.
Kelly, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Okay.
Tiffany Sokiako.
Tiffany, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Dan Spence.
Dan, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Jacqueline Steves.
Jacqueline, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Angela Sullivan.
Angela, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Leslie K. Tracy.
Leslie, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. Good job.
Tracy L. Trenum.
Tracy, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Diana Uthaya Kumar.
Diana, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Jennifer Ann McCowan Van de Koevering.
Jennifer, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Elsa May Vino.
Elsa, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Adelina B. Vesio.
Adrina, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Donna M. Walsh.
Donna, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Nicole E. Webb.
Nicole, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Kylie Wellen-Willand.
Kylie, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Michael Wells.
Michael, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Margot C. Wenzel.
Margot, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Catherine A. White.
Catherine, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Ashley B. Wilson.
Ashley, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Madam Chancellor, it is my privilege to present to you the candidates for the Collegiate Honors of Graduation. I attest that they have successfully completed the required courses of study. I ask that they be awarded the master degree. Mount Saint Vincent University confers the degree of Master of Arts in Education on Andre Davey, Senate Medal of Distinction.
Andre, on behalf of the Synod of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Master of Arts in Education with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations on the medal. Good job.
Margaret M. Lyons McFarlane.
Margaret, I admit you to the degree of Master of Arts in Education.
Mount St. Vincent University confers the degree of Master of Arts in School Psychology on Myrna Khalil.
Myrna, on behalf of the Synod of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Master of Arts in School Psychology with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations. Good job.
Brittany L. McGregor.
Brittany, I admit you to the degree of Master of Arts in School Psychology. You do a lot of good work. We need it.
Stephanie A. McNeil Jessam.
Stephanie, I admit you to the degree of Master of Arts in School Psychology. Good luck with your work.
In absentia. In addition, we confer the appropriate degrees on all those presented to the University Senate.
I confer degrees in absentia on those persons so designated by you. Thank you.
The Graduate Thesis Award. The Graduate Thesis Award was established in 2003 to be awarded annually at the Fall Convocation. Students who graduate in the spring and fall ceremonies are eligible for this award. It is awarded to a student who has completed a thesis that is of exceptional quality, includes evidence of well-developed independent research skills, and makes a contribution to their academic discipline. This year's award goes to Adrian Downey, Master of Arts in Education, Curriculum Studies. Adrienne receives this award for a thesis entitled Speaking in Circles, Indigenous Identity and White Privilege. Adrienne is currently working on his PhD at the University of New Brunswick and is unable to be here today to accept his award. We nevertheless honor his work with a few words. In Speaking in Circles, Indigenous Identity and White Privilege, Adrienne uses the metaphor and framework of a talking circle and he uses the genres of storytelling, poetry, and narrative intertwined with conventional Western academic prose to explore the intersections of his own Indigenous and white identities. His writing is intensely personal, and at times it was a challenging journey, but Adrian found a way of honoring his Mi'kmaq culture and traditions while exceeding the standards of academia through a creative integration of arts-informed and Indigenous methodologies. While completing his master's thesis, Adrian began to study the Mi'kmaq language so that he could engage in stories with elders in the language of his ancestors. Adrian's thesis is exceptional, and the content and context speak volumes about his gentle ways of knowing and vast knowledge in Indigenous studies. As an indication of the outstanding quality of Adrian's work, it is important to note that Speaking in Circles already has been accepted for publication as a book. Congratulations to Adrian Downey for receiving the 2017 Graduate Thesis Award, and we thank him for this important work. The Kappa Gamma Pi Award. Membership in Kappa Gamma Pi Honor Society of Catholic Universities is awarded to graduates who, in addition to high scholastic standing and a good record in extracurricular activities, give promise to academic leadership in the future. Our Graduate Kappa Gamma Pi Award goes to Carla Jackson, Master of Education, Curriculum Studies. Carla has shown a passion for learning. After completing a BSc degree in chemistry at St. Francis Xavier University and a Master of Science in Chemistry at Dalhousie University, Carla continued at the Mount to pursue her BEd secondary degree and then her MEd in Curriculum Studies. She was recognized by her professors as a leader in her classes and an active and engaging participant in class discussions. Carla currently is teaching mathematics at Forest Heights Community School in Chester Basin, Nova Scotia, where she also coaches one of the school's girls' volleyball teams. Carla is a worthy candidate for the Kappa Gamma Pi Award, which recognizes a record of academic and leadership accomplishments and the potential for future service to the education profession and the children of Nova Scotia. Congratulations, Carla, on receiving this wonderful recognition. The Valedictorian Prize provides all valedictorians with a lasting memento of their achievement and contribution to the graduating class. To be chosen valedictorian, the student must have maintained a strong academic record, must have been actively involved in a number of extracurricular activities, either on campus or in the community, and must have been nominated as a fitting spokesperson for the graduating class by their peers and/or their faculty. I am pleased to present the Valedictorian Award to Nadira El-Nazleh, Master of Education, Lifelong Learning. Congratulations, Nadira. Nadira's nominator describes her as a strong scholar and wonderful role model to others, and cites many examples of Nadira's commitment to the Mount and her many accomplishments, which include studying as a full-time student, completing her degree within a year with a high academic standing, all the while contributing to many initiatives as a volunteer both on and off campus. Nadira's background and interest in the area of science education led her to volunteer on campus with the Alexa McDonough Institute Annual Girls Conference and the Atlantic Connections Conference. As part of Nadira's practicum, she organized a series of workshops for newcomers and immigrant women who have obtained education and experience in science, technology, engineering, and math fields. Her work focused on working to understand the difficulties and challenges that face immigrant women after they arrive in Canada and want to start their career in these STEM fields, and to discover what sorts of services, supports, and aids these women would like to see available to assist them in finding and maintaining jobs in their fields. Some of Nadira's community volunteer work includes Feed Nova Scotia and Share the Spirit of Ramadan food drives, Coats for Humanity, and the Children's Wish Foundation. I would like now to invite Nadira to the podium to deliver the valedictorian address.
Madam Board Chair, Madam Chancellor, Madam President, government representatives, honorary degree recipient, Students' Union President, distinguished guests, faculty, staff, graduates, families, and friends. Good afternoon. I am very honored to stand in front of all of you on this special occasion and to represent such a diverse group of education students at Mount Saint Vincent University. I want to start by saying that I feel very thankful for being a part of the Mount community and for obtaining my master's degree from a university with such commitment to education, diversity, and inclusion. I am also thankful for being taught by unbelievably supportive faculty members in the Lifelong Learning Department. So I thank you all. I have learned so much from every one of you. I would like to further extend my gratitude to my family and my friends for their continuous encouragement throughout the past year. I could not have made it without your support. One of the hardest questions I had to answer throughout obtaining my master's degree was, what will this master's education get you? To be completely honest, the first time I was asked this question, I didn't really have an answer. All I knew was I was drowning in educational methodologies, philosophies, and theories of Habermas, Mesereau, and Kolb, and I really didn't need anyone making it any harder on me. I had no idea what this master's education would quote-unquote get me, so I did what any 20th century millennial would do when they don't know an answer to something. Yes, I Googled it. The results that came up in my search mentioned the possible earning potential and the types of jobs you can get with a master's in education. And at the time, that did help me formulate an answer to the question and comfort people's curiosity. But when I look back now, I realized that was nowhere close to what this master's education has given me. It has given me the skills to think critically. It has expanded my knowledge in many different areas. It made me want to learn just for the sake of learning itself. And most importantly, it helped me realize the true meaning of becoming an educator. In life, we often face uncertainties. And in our toughest hours, we are tempted to choose the path that is only advantageous to ourselves. But graduates, let me tell you that by choosing the path of education, we have already chosen a path that would not only benefit ourselves, it would benefit our communities, our society, and generations to come. A path that has the power to lead us into a brighter future and would always yield the highest rewards. So between educational methodologies, philosophies, and theories, we have learned something much greater. We have learned to love learning. We have learned the power of learning. And we have learned the beauty of sharing our learning with others. One very well-known quote that has motivated me throughout my experience is, If you are not willing to learn, no one can help you. But if you are determined to learn, then no one can stop you. So, fellow graduates, I want to congratulate you on the great gift of graduating with an education degree, and for having the determination to learn and share your learning with others. I wish the very best of luck to you all. Thank you.
To continue the celebrating of the new president, all our graduates, and Dr. Winnie, there is a reception, and it's being held in the Margaret Norrie McCain Center, Elizabeth and Fred Fountain Atrium. Now, I wasn't clear this morning, they told me, but you just have to get to the second floor and keep walking. Go through. And there are lovely students there to greet you on your way. So please, everyone is invited to the reception. I now declare this convocation closed.
Well, congratulations once again to all of our graduates. Please stand to sing our national anthem.